From the 22 News Plus studio, this is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of InFocus. I'm your host, Patrick Berry. We are here in the 22 News Plus studios having a conversation that is near and dear to my heart because women constitute more than 50% of the population, not only in the United States or here in Western Mass, but everywhere across the globe. So we need to make sure that women have the tools and resources necessary to become successful in life. Sitting across the desk from me today from the Odell Women's Center is Margaret Tantillo. She is the executive director. Margaret, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate your time. This is, as I said, I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad.
Awesome.
So what I try and do a lot, through my time in Mass Appeal or through this program in Focus, talk about advancing women, because it's weird. I was a business owner and I used to hear of, women not getting the same opportunities. And even to this day, I never understood that. If you have the skills, you do the job. I don't understand the pay differences and all that. But before we get to that, there are certain women in our world who got the short end of the stick, however you want to describe it, who don't have the opportunities my girls had.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where you come in. And the Odell Women's Center helps those women reach their potential. So before we get into all of that and how you do that, tell me about the Odell Women's Center. I've never really learned much about it.
Yeah, the Odell Women's Center, we have been about 2 years old, and we are deliberately growing at a pace that we're able to be as productive as we can. So we're not growing too fast, making false promises, and then not being able to deliver. And the actual Odell Women's Center came about because when I was executive director of Dress for Success Western Massachusetts, when the Eastville Mall closed.
Oh, right.
And we were paying minimal rent. I think we were just paying a little bit for utilities. And we had to find a location for the organization. And the cost of renting space,
astronomical.
Yeah, it would have added a third to the budget.
Right.
And would have drastically changed the look of all of the programs, how people spent time and raising funds for rent. And it was very fortunate that we had a donor who I started talking with about this situation that would drastically change the organization and not for the good. It kind of floated this concept of, what about Dress for Success and also it being in a women's center? And Keely Krantz, who is the founder of the Odell Women's Center, we completely, I don't think there was any hesitation.
Nice.
And the idea of the Odell Women's Center with Dress for Success Western Massachusetts being the anchor institution was born. And the building at 45 Lyman Street was purchased strategically right across from Union Station because we know transportation is a barrier.
Okay. And
that building is in a nonprofit, the Odell Women's Center.
Perfect.
Its own organization.
So who do you reach out to? I mean, obviously women, but I mean, are there specific women that you're targeting, specific ages, specific backgrounds?
So first and foremost, we are there for everyone.
Okay.
All women. I've heard our space from women who have come in say that it is, they feel safe there and that they feel like they're at home. So,
perfect.
I mean, that's an amazing
That's
thing.
what you want.
Absolutely. And what we're, looking to support are low-income women. Our mission is to provide a path to economic stability for low-income women through career advancement as well as education.
Okay.
And it sounds like a simple mission.
And we all know it's not.
Easy for me to communicate in a concise way, but all of the barriers and social constructs and systems that are in place and even, messages that women get about their self-worth.
So I have to imagine you can't do this alone. You must have partner agencies that you work with, not only here in Springfield, but in all the surrounding communities to help guide the women that come to you to the right resources to make their dreams and wishes come true.
Yeah, that's a big way in which we want to deliver on our mission. So really, the Odell Women's Center is one staff person, and that's me. I do have an intern, and so the way we want to work is by bringing partnering organizations together that have shared,
Shared mission.
mission
Yeah.
outcomes for their participants. And also, the amazing thing is, I have, in 2 years, I have 20 very active, involved volunteers who refer to the Odell Women's Center as, oh, well, we. And then they go, is it okay if I refer to it as we? I'm like, yes, this is what this is. This
That's
is
funny.
a space for women by women.
Right.
So it's really special and unique in that regard.
So in your prior role with Dress for Success Western Mass,
Mhm.
you met a lot of other organizations. So
Correct.
does this role now bring all of those contacts you had not under one roof, but sort of created a web of network that just says, okay, so
Mhm.
one woman comes in saying, all right, I'm looking for this, for X.
Mhm.
You're able to now, because of the people you know and the circles you
Right.
used to operate in, you now can put that woman in the right programs and connect them with the right people.
Yeah. So that's a great question. And the way the Odell Women's Center is, we want to grow in addition to Dress for Success. So those relationships are still very tight with Dress for Success Western Mass. And I'm forging new relationships to expand the network of support. But yes, either myself or other people, will make phone calls and
Nice.
cut through the red tape because maybe somebody's not able to get through to an agency, and pick up a phone.
Just got to grease the wheels a little bit, right?
No, no. We want to be fair for everyone,
But
and I
make
don't
sure
want
that
things
somebody answers the phone, right?
correct to
Yeah,
make
that's what I
sure
mean.
that
Right.
that we're able to get
Yeah.
the information to the
Right.
people and get and as well as get accurate information to the women that we're supporting. And also we provide support to other agencies that serve and align with our mission
Good.
through grant making.
Okay. Which we
And
will get into
correct,
that
yeah.
shortly.
And
But
yeah,
I'm sorry, we are up on our first commercial break.
perfect.
Stay with us. We've got plenty more to talk about. We're
Yeah.
back in just a moment.
Yep.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of In Focus. We're here in the 22 News Plus studios. Sitting across the desk from me today from the Odell Women's Center is Margaret Tantillo. Margaret, thank you for joining me. We
Thank you.
in the first part of this discussion really covered
Mhm.
the overarching theme of what Odell Women's Center does. If you don't mind, I'd like to dig in now
Yep.
to some specifics.
Sure.
How women find you once they walk through the door, pick up that phone and connect with you or your interns or any of your volunteers. What happens after that?
Mhm.
So I'm going to defer to you on this to kind of
Sure.
lead the conversation because it sounds like there's a process. So I'll let you walk me
Yeah.
through the process.
Yeah. So, one of the things is we're very unique in our delivery system. So, women find us through other agencies. Sometimes women walk through the door, and the bigger impact we have is through our three different ways that we execute so that we fulfill our mission.
Okay.
So the first is the building, the physical building at Odell Women's Center, and
And that's on Lyman Street, right?
it's on Lyman Street. We provide space on the second floor for organizations at little or no cost that want to run programs that align with our mission. So I think you had uh, uh, Jalea from
Girls Unite. Yep.
Girls Unite.
Yep.
Perfect example. She came in. We were able just to provide the space at no cost.
Perfect.
And interesting thing was I had somebody reach out to me after that who wanted to use the space and emailed me, and I said, oh yeah, absolutely, come on in, let's talk. Let me see what you're interested in doing. Her name is Michelle, and she came in, and she kind of walked upstairs, and she seemed like very familiar with the space, and I was said, "Oh, have you been here before?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I came to Girls Unite program and I'm very
Ah,
familiar." And then she said, "Oh yeah, I feel at home here." And then we were able
the
to have,
recurring theme you love to hear.
yeah. And so she shared with me the program that she wants to run for women regarding setting goals and how she wants to do that. And so in the future, she'll run a program where we'll
Nice.
invite other women in for her to then be able to pass along the knowledge and wisdom that she gained.
So is the brick and mortar facility,
Mhm.
is it shared spaces? So like, Girls Unite is in there. I remember Leah saying, they do something on
Yeah,
Saturdays, but maybe on Sundays, somebody else is in that same space. So it's,
yeah,
you utilize maximizing the space.
yep,
Oh,
yep,
perfect.
yep. And the ultimate goal is that there's a lot of synergy, and with activity, that women in different programs or who come in for different reasons then are able to meet um, different supports,
Okay,
women who provide different supports. So the building, at the building, I think in November, we did a diaper distribution where we distributed
great.
about 40,000 diapers, including I had volunteers that were driving them to women's houses that didn't have transportation. Um, and that's an annual event. Um, so we have the physical space in the building. We have a pilot program that we're doing where um, are we actually have recruited 5 really amazing women as volunteers
Nice.
who have lived experience in terms of having a history of either uh, poverty or, you know, um, other.
It's interesting. I don't know if people understand the importance of volunteers
Mm,
because an organization like yours
mhm,
wouldn't be able to do what it does
no,
without the volunteers. And
correct.
to that point, your volunteers have experienced, have life experience, so they're
Right.
better able to help. It's not like me coming in,
Hmm.
but these are women who have had experiences
Hmm.
within their lives that they can relate to other
Yeah,
women.
absolutely. And we did so in the development of this program, we started with listening sessions, and that's exactly what we heard from
Okay.
women. Is that when they have somebody that's coaching them or giving, helping provide them uh, a vision for a path forward for themselves, is they want the woman to know exactly what
Right.
situation that they are in. And we actually heard one woman say, when I'm talking to somebody and I say my kids are hungry, I want the person across the table
Know
from me
exactly what that
to
means.
to understand that.
Right.
And so we're incredible, and it says a lot about the 5 volunteers that are coming in because they're committing to a year program to be a mentor and guide. We're calling them bridging navigators
Okay.
because they're going to support bridging social services, bridging, opportunities again for career advancement and education. So I'm very excited about it, mostly because of the women that are involved
Right.
in it. And we actually had an advisory council specifically for this program, also made comprised of women with lived experience who achieved economic stability. So they,
And there's nothing better than that for
correct,
people entering
correct.
that sees,
Hmm.
okay, you've come out the other side, a success story.
Hmm.
I want to be like that. How do I get from A to
Hmm.
C, point A to
Exactly,
point C? You got to
exactly.
get through B first.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so we're hoping that this will be powerful. We're hoping that we can, in the subsequent years, grow it in terms of the number of volunteers, the number of participants. And yeah, I think the way we went about it, I'm going to veer off for a minute off,
Okay.
and then I'll get on my third way that we deliver on our mission. But the way we have come about this, and I think this is why people feel so welcome in our space and opening up and feeling like they're not judged, is because our way of work is that we come at it from a real sense of humility and trying to listen to what women are sharing with
Right.
us. I really try hard. It's really hard. We're all biased, we're all myopic, but I try really hard not to impose like what my thoughts are or what my experiences are on somebody else. And so one of our core values, I think that's what you know, I think is going to make is making us a powerful organization is that we have some clear values about listening and understanding somebody else's journey, not making assumptions. And we also come at this from an angle of compassion, respect, and dignity.
Right.
And that anybody who comes in, inherently has self-worth.
Perfect. We are up on our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll get to the third point. So stay with us.
Thank
There's
you.
more to come.
Yep.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this edition of In Focus. Today, we are talking about the Odell Women's Center, and I'm very excited today to be joined across the desk. In the hot seat is Margaret Tantillo. Margaret, thank you for joining me to educate me and all of our viewers about the Odell Women's Center. I think you said early on, it's only been around for about 2 years.
Yep.
And we got 2 bullet points, 1 and 2, really the core mission or three points of the Odell Women's Center. What's number 3?
So our third delivery method, I talked about the building, I talked about a pilot program, and the third way is that we make grants to organizations that align with our mission. So we're supporting a woman by funding other organizations to help break down the barriers to create a clear path to economic stability, all the way from like emergency needs to long-term solutions. So last year was our first year, and we distributed $250,000.
Wow! In your first year,
correct? So built out a grant application process, and then this year we granted, and I'll share with you what we granted and why it was a little unique. This year we provided $550,000 of funding in
to organizations that help women achieve their educational financial goals and become independent and more successful. So where does that money come from? Are you writing are you then writing grants for organizations on the state level? Is it all donor money? Where does that money come from? A little bit of everything?
So no, thank you for asking. And so we are very fortunate that we have a woman that supports this work, the founder of the organization. Very generous, very kind, and what really makes us special, or I feel, the work that I'm doing is the relationship that we have and the way that we work together to actualize this mission. I mean, I have the utmost love and respect for her, and we have a shared vision of what we want to provide for women in Springfield.
So I know early on in this conversation, you mentioned her name.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mention it. Sorry,
so for those of us who missed it.
Keely Krantz, amazing woman.
So how did she and why did she start this and go down this path in her life to help other women?
First of all, she knew me and supported Dress for Success Western Mass, was impressed with the work that we were doing. And at some point, wanted to do something a little bit more impactful and to grow on that mission and impact women's lives. She's originally from the Springfield area, and she founded the Odell Women's Center in honor of her grandmother, Connie Odell, who was a maternity nurse at, I don't think Providence Hospital is still around, but her grandmother was a nurse for 40 years. And so I think some of the mission, the way we deliver in our values, the compassion is continuing her grandmother's way of work and compassion for women. Right.
And it's interesting that she recognized what you had already been doing with Dress for Success, because I don't think a lot of people understand Dress for Success it's more than just helping women with outfits for interviews or whatever. Right. You have multiple programs within that. So it sounds like the Odell Women's Center sort of created an entity, as I mentioned earlier,
Right.
bringing it all together,
Right.
creating a web of, okay, so you come here
Mhm.
to Dress for Success for A,
Mhm.
but let us help you with all these other items too. Is that a kind of a
Yeah.
good way to describe it?
Yeah, and Dress for Success has, a workforce readiness program, a mentoring program, and also a professional women's group. So absolutely, and as I mentioned, the Odell Women's Center is developing slowly, so that we are able to bring in organizations, women that can build on that support for women.
So, are you always on the lookout for new partner organizations? Or so if there's
Mhm.
somebody that's watching this, or you're looking for volunteers or
Mhm.
donors, or how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, on our website, on the contact, my email is there,
Okay.
Margaret Tantillo at odellwomencenter.com. And we're
Doesn't get any
always,
easier than that.
no, it doesn't. My full name at Odell Women's Center. And so, no, we always want to work with like-minded people
Okay.
and support people in their work. And again, the grant funding is a way that we're able to do that.
Right.
One of the things that we did this year, um, and again, this just goes back to the kindness, generosity, and of Keeley. When the government shutdown
Mm,
happened, and we talk frequently, and I was like, I think this is a problem.
right.
And she said, yeah, let's distribute funding directly to food pantries. She herself oversaw a food pantry and was president of a food pantry, so she's aware of how that those systems work, and she knew that the funding needed to go directly to the food pantries, and because of what was happening with SNAP benefits
Right.
and federal workers. I mean, we don't have a lot, but it still impacts people who
Oh,
are
absolutely.
furloughed.
Absolutely.
And I ended up, because I'm trying to get this out as quickly and as responsibly as possible. So I, drove by some places. I did some research about, who's doing, you know, what I mean, anybody who did any work during that was heroic.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that the funding was given to organizations that had the infrastructure to get food back on the shelves ASAP, and we're serving,
Right.
certain number of people. And it was really incredible. I went up to this one door, and on the door it said, "Oh, sorry," like, because I knew they were open. I saw on their website there, and it said, "Sorry, we're out of food. We're closed." They're supposed to be open from 12 to 3. I think I stopped by at 1 o'clock, and
Already out. Yeah.
we immediately, like, I physically wrote checks. So I'm like, I usually bank online. Some people,
Yep.
distribute. And I was like, if I issue a check online, it's going to take 7 days. So I physically wrote a check and physically handed
Handed
it
it to
to
them.
some of the shelters that didn't have food. Now, some of them are a little bit more,
Right.
weren't as in a desperate, and I issued that, but that was $100,000. So we were able to get out very quickly.
Good.
And then the additional, I think I mentioned that we distributed 550.
Right. Right.
The additional 450 went through our regular grant process. And
Fantastic.
again, it's emergency things like food, diapers, we funded a new program at Bay Path University for women who live in Springfield who go to Bay Path who may have unforeseen circumstances that would interrupt their education.
Wow.
Um,
Unfortunately, our time is up.
Sorry about that.
No, that's
Sorry.
fine. That's fine. It is
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm sure we could go on for another hour at least. You're doing great work.
Yep.
Thank you so very much for sharing the story of Odell Women's Center.
Yeah.
And Margaret Tantillo at odellwomencenter.com.
You got it.
.org.
.com.
Thank you very much. Good
Excellent.
seeing you.
Thank you.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.